Mark Newnham, race 4, you're going to saddle Bull Attitude. First go at the mile last time, certainly reaped the rewards. He was a tidy winner.
Yeah, and look, I think the good gate had plenty to do with that, as well as the step up in distance. He got a good ride from Lyle, had a soft run, got a gap late, but he was good enough to put them away.
I know he's not an over big horse, but he had to breathe in a bit, didn't he, up the rail to go for his run, but he was very good in doing so.
Yeah, got a little tight, but he was game enough to go through, so that's always a good sign of a genuine horse. And look, he's come through that well. He gets an awkward gate on Sunday, and we'll just have to have a good look at the race and decide how we ride him. When we pushed him forward from wide gates earlier in the season, he didn't react well, so I'll just have a good look at the speed of the race and decide where he's best placed.
He's only coming up for start number 9. Had he just taken a little bit of time, this horse, Mark?
Yeah, look, like a lot of horses coming here, it does take a few runs till they work it out, and generally in Class 4, they're racing horses that are very experienced, and they may not have much class, but once they've had that 25, 30 runs, they don't make any mistakes, so they're hard to beat. And he's just a horse that's improved a little bit again from last season, and he's got a little bit more season, a bit tougher, and got a bit more racing style about him.
There'll be a few judges out there looking at your strike rate with Andrea Atzeni. He rides him for the first time. Obviously, Lyle did a great job last time, but you're 3 from 10 with Andrea so far this season.
Yeah, well, look, actually, all the boys I use have been in really good form. Andrea's in that group. Lyle's suspended this Sunday, so he's a good replacement.
Andrea, your ride in the 5th is Mr. Cool. You won't like me for reminding you, but you're going to get quite familiar with the outside fence on Sunday, which is not ideal. But with a horse like him that goes back, how do you sort of see the race panning out first and foremost with him?
Yeah, he's not much luck with draws. He's a horse that his trials have been very impressive. He's been a horse that I like a lot. He obviously, his first round of the season, he ran on very slow ground. He actually ran good. He probably just got a little bit tired on it. He probably wasn't quite strong enough to go through that sort of ground. But yeah, hopefully if we get a bit of luck from that draw, he's obviously carrying top weight, which is never easy. Drawn wide is never easy. But yeah, he's been knocking on the door, and hopefully it's only going to be a matter of time when he's going to pop, and hopefully be on Sunday.
He's had one run already. I mean, the run was very respectable. I guess a couple of crucial points. One, the handicap has left him on 60, which gives him a chance in this grade. I'll ask you about him going up in grade in a moment. But second up, he did win second up last season as well. So do you reckon he just needed that run to sort of knock the cobwebs off?
I think so. He was ready to go, but he wasn't quite there yet. And obviously we found the day rained a lot, and the track was quite soft, which it would have took a bit of speed out of him. It feels like he's come on for it. Like in his trial, everybody said he always tries quite well. So the ability is there. He's, like I said, he's on a mark where he can obviously run in the top of the Class 4, which was a conversation that me and Frankie had, and whether to go up to Class 3 with a bottom weight or current top weight in Class 4. But at the moment, Frankie was happy to stick to Class 4, and hopefully if he can get the job done on Sunday, then he'll go up to Class 3 eventually.
Yeah, I mean, with that in mind, I mean, is he a horse that perhaps as well will get over a bit further? Maybe sort of Class 3, maybe a little bit extra distance might just suit a horse like him given his makeup.
Yeah, like I said, he's not a slow horse. I think a mile is right where he wants to be. Whether he'll get further, I'm not sure, but I think a mile at the moment is just a perfect trip for him, because there's the horse that travels very strong, and he has got a bit of a turn of foot as well. So hopefully, if he can get good trip around on Sunday, he'll be doing his best work at the end.
Andrea, we've got some cracking racing coming up on Sunday, and the chief supporting race of the Group 2 is the Panasonic Cup. You're going to ride Bundle Award. We didn't get to see him recently, but we'll see him this weekend, and he's a smart horse, this fellow, isn't he?
He is. He obviously won a Class 1 sort of back end last season. He's had a few trials now. His trials have been quite good. He's not a flashy horse in the mornings, but it's all about how he moves, and I've been very happy with him. Obviously the plan was to run him in the Group 2 mile, and unfortunately didn't get in, but this race sort of came up once they changed the ratings, and it's a very competitive race. He's obviously going in with near enough top weight, but I'm very pleased with him, and he's a horse that runs well fresh, and the mile, it's a good start for him as well.
You mentioned that Class 1 win at the end of the season. I mean, that was a handy enough field. Beat Happy Together and Co. So, I mean, that form's pretty strong.
It is. It was obviously carrying near enough bottom weight, I think, maybe 116. He's a horse that goes back and he runs on well. But yeah, it feels like physically he's done well. He's definitely strengthened up, which he needed to. And but no, we've been very pleased with him. It's obviously his first round of the season. There's a good chance he'll come on for it, but it looks like he's ready to go.
I know you didn't ride him when he won the Queen Mother Memorial. That's obviously a mile and a half, 2,400 metre race. But does he ride like a horse that's relatively versatile? I mean, a mile to a mile and a half. Do you reckon he can sort of take in all those sort of trips?
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see how he's this season. But yeah, looking at his form, he's done it from a mile, from 7 furlongs to a mile and a half. So trip-wise, he's very, very versatile. He's a horse that, like I said, he always goes back, whether he's run over a mile or mile and a half. He's got that way of racing, but he's not a slow horse. He's actually got a very good turn of foot, so hopefully he can show that on Sunday.
I know there are limited opportunities for him, and obviously the decision rests with the owners and John, of course, but he might just be a horse, might need to follow over those sort of those longer distances going forward, because there'll be certainly nice options for him.
For sure. As we know, these sort of same races, over 2,000 metres, okay, but the likes of Romantic Warrior and maybe Voyage Bubble. I know Voyage Bubble, he did run over a mile and a half, but it wouldn't have took a lot to beat those sort of horses. He probably didn't need to stay to win that. But, it's a horse that, like I said, he'll stay, and be interesting to see how he goes on Sunday, but he's got plenty of options over a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half, I'd say, if he needs to eventually.
Harry, the Premier Bowl is our feature race coming up, and you've got a bit of a feature horse to ride because he's creating his own little legend here in Hong Kong, Tomodachi Kokoroe, who just continues to go from strength to strength.
Yeah, he's a horse that has really climbed the ladder, and he's at an all-time high rating of 100, so it's been a great training performance to get him to this point at the age of 7, and I hope he can keep going on the up.
What some viewers might not realise is that he hadn't actually won at Sha Tin until this season, but he's now strung 2 together, and he's won them both in sort of tenacious fashion, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah, you couldn't say anything else really. I mean, he won obviously very impressively on seasonal debut, and then he went and backed that up with a really big performance to win last time. I mean, we were drawn wide, and I was always going to have to use him up early to get into a nice handy position, and then we just got slightly moved a bit wider from the horse on the inside than ideal, so he had to work at it a bit, but credit to the horse, he stuck his head out and really battled on.
And that's, I think, key, isn't it, with him, Harry, that you've got a horse that really does try. I went back and had a look at his win last time out, and I mean, when you asked him and sort of really sort of asked him for maximum effort, he responded in spades, didn't he?
He did. You need a willing partner in those scenarios, and he stuck his head out for me, and I felt like he really gave me his all. So, I can't give the horse any more credit than that, to be honest. And hopefully he's just got that bit more again.
You mentioned the triple figure racing, of course. Obviously, there are probably fewer options for him now as he creeps up the handicap. I know this is a tougher ask, Class 2 to Group 2, but the way the handicap pans out, you'd like to fancy your chances, wouldn't you, with a lightweight?
Well, the thing is, in these group races, when you've got a horse carrying 115, you just can't look past them, to be honest. It's huge weight that he's giving to some of the top horses, and he's coming in with good form. I'm happy with the draw, so you'd have to respect him.
Yeah, and total respect as well to his owners. They've had a bit of a fun ride with this horse, haven't they? I know they've got big ambitions and big dreams, so it'd be nice in some part to try and fulfil them, I suppose.
Absolutely. I mean, the horse has been a great servant to the whole ownership team, and obviously if we can get another one, it'd be fantastic. But he's taken them on some great journeys.
Mark Newnham, you're in very good form on Wednesday night. Let's hope that can continue. You've got chances aplenty on Sunday, and ALSONSO, I think we're all willing him to win one, aren't we? He deserves it.
Yeah, he does. A little frustrating. He seems to run the same race each time. I swapped the distance last start, and he gets on pace, and he just can't quite get there. He's just lacking a killer punch at the moment.
He is. I mean, 2 very respectable thirds of late. I mean, the one last time was pretty good. They've left him on 63. I guess if he can replicate that run, then he's bound to be there or thereabouts again, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had good form down the straight. He's drawn the right side. Brenton's a good straight jockey, so I always take those things into account. And look, he'll get himself into position to win the race. It's just a matter of whether he can quite put them away.
Yeah, interesting with Brenton booked, as you say. I mean, his record down the straight, he always has looked as if he rides that course very well, as do plenty of them, but he's always got a pretty good record down the straight, hasn't he?
Yeah, especially when it comes to finding the right lane down the outside there. And that wins and loses you races, not finding the right position there. Look, he's been consistent. His turn's not far away. Let's hope it's Sunday.
And the 1200 last time, of course, back to 1000. You mentioned obviously he's versatile in some respects to trip. Why this race? Why 1000? Is it just that it appeared on the calendar and it was a good fit?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, he's fit and well. He won't win a race staying at home. So, when the races are on that suit him, he's big, hardy, tough gelding. So, we need to race him.
Just talking of 1,000-metre horses, and just going back to Wednesday, obviously delighted to see Youthful Spirits win again. He deserved that somewhat, and a nice race to win as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really pleased when they extended the entries and he was allowed to get in there with the dropping of the rating. Look, he's been great for his owners, but frustrating for his trainer. He wins a lot of prize money. And I know Luke was just as relieved as I was that, he got the job done. He had a good season last season. Prize money wise, I think he won $2.5 million and didn't win a race. So he certainly started this season very well. Where we go from here may be a little difficult.
David Eustace, the final race on Sunday. You're going to put a saddle on Dazzling Fit for the first time this season. On what we saw last, you must be excited to get him going.
Yeah, he had a obviously progressive sort of 3-year-old campaign. He made a step forward each run. And even his last run, I thought, was probably his best performance up in grade. So obviously looking forward to getting him back.
How have preparations been with him, David? He's had a couple of trials. He's looked good in both.
Yeah, pretty smooth. I really haven't put sort of too much pressure on it. Obviously his last trial, it quickened up well, but they didn't sort of run great time. But he's quite a naturally sort of athletic horse. I don't sort of think requires too much work, and it's the start of the season with with hopefully bigger targets in mind. So just brought him along gently.
And on that last season, David, obviously he was successful, so he obviously did a very good job. But he always looked like a bit of a work in progress. I went back and looked at his debut run, and he sort of looked the horse that was going to learn throughout the course of the season. Would that be fair?
Yeah, he can be a bit of a big sissy. I took my time with him, and as I said, he just progressed with each run, and he's still got that in him. Really, he's still learning, and I just feel like he's a horse that will continue to sort of learn on the track. I don't want to sort of overdo it at home.
Is 14 his trip for now?
Only for now. I'm looking forward to stepping him up in trip. I think I think you could run a mile now. There's really no need to, and he's not a slow horse. But I think he'll stay well, and hopefully his turn of foot will then be that little bit more potent.